Are you happy? Well, I hope to hell you're satisfied, because a lot of you clowns, and that's exactly what the hell you are, clowns, wanted this. You wanted this. You freaking gluttons for punishment. You wanted to celebrate and commemorate a mediocre-ass 8-8 team backdooring themselves into the playoffs. Like this was something to behold. And then wanted to sit there and double down on the stupidity by thinking that somehow, some way, this Bears team, with this quarterback, this defensive coordinator, this head coach, this general manager, this team president, this team ownership, would do anything other than go on national TV for the whole nation and the whole world to see, the spotlight shine clearly on them. You thought they would do anything other than go out there and face plant. Like, who's the idiot here? You wanted this. Do you feel better about this moral victory that's hollow and means absolutely nothing, and if anything, potentially still create some long-term consequences for this organization? I've been trying to tell you all year, and some of you listened. Some of you believed from day one. Some of you bought in eventually. And the more of you bought in but then backed off because all of a sudden, when they started facing teams with really shitty defenses, you bought in like that dumbass Larry Meyer saying, oh, this offense has figured it out. They're on it. Ain't nothing. It took until the last play of the game today for them to score more than 3 points. 3 points! In 59 minutes and 55 seconds, they scored 3 points in this damn game today. And I had people going at me at Twitter, trying to clown me, thinking that all of a sudden this Bears offense had magically figured it out. They haven't figured out anything. Clearly. Did you watch the game? You got Tony Romo sitting there like he's on the McCaskey's freaking payroll, talking about, well, I can't see why you would fire Nagy. You idiot, have you watched the game? Then you got Jim Nantz chiming in talking about, well, this is the best I've ever seen Trubisky look. A-hole! The Bears offense scored 3 points. And no, that's not entirely on Mitch, but really, that's your argument? You've never seen him look better? Well, then how bad was he before? And it's just, to talk about the actual game itself, especially the first half. The first courageous decision made in this game, in a first half especially full of stupidity from both teams, the Bears deferred to start the game. The Saints, of course, get the ball and immediately drive. But then for some inexplicable reason, Sean Payton wants to play pussy ball, and it wasn't the only time he did it on Sunday. And I don't get why. He doesn't go for it on 4th down in Bears territory, and he instead punts. And the Bears, of course, respond offensively by immediately going 3 and out. What are you doing? You know their offense stinks. You've watched the film. You know the truth. You're not part of the Bears bubble of stupidity where people think something other than reality is what's actually going on. You're out of that echo chamber of, the Bears offense have figured it out. They should bring back Nagy and Pace and Trubisky, and then they should give them extensions. You know better. That offense didn't scare you one bit. So what the hell are you sitting there punting it for? Unbelievable. So, of course, then, once the Saints get the ball back after the Bears courageously play Bears football and immediately go 3 and out, the Saints march right down the field, Michael Thomas touchdown catch, and it's 7-0. Now, to the Bears' credit, they had one chance really in this game. One chance. Javon Wims, help me understand this. 100% with good clean shots to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's head, but 50-50 on deep balls in the second quarter. And how the hell do you catch the more difficult one? And then when Nagy and Laser actually for once draw up an incredibly creative play call, and Mitch throws this beautiful ball, one of the most beautiful throws he's had during his entire 4-year terror reign in Chicago, dragging this organization down. You sit there and you let it go right through your hands. What did the Nickelodeon slime get on your fingertips? What the hell happened here? And then, of course, now they've screwed up. The Bears got to sit there and go for it on 4th down. And Mitch is trying to run out of bounds. Turn upfield and lower your shoulder, get the first down. Your team's season's on the line, and by God, your career as a starting quarterback in the league, and maybe even as a quarterback in the league in any capacity is on the line, and you puss out again? And it's like, you just can't you get breaks, but then you don't get breaks. Like, Nobody in this first half seemed that they wanted to win this game. It felt like both the Bears and the Saints didn't realize that they're actually in the playoffs and that it's win or go home. After the Duke Shelley interception gets overturned, as it should have, Sean Payton once again plays chicken. Like, how could you sit there and think to yourself, well, I'd rather kick the field goal here. Go for the touchdown. Put this crappy-ass, mediocre 8-8 Bears team in a big deficit early. Press them. Make them uncomfortable. Instead, now you kick the field goal. Of course, your kicker misses because karma came to collect on your wuss ass. You play chicken shit football, you get chicken shit results. And all of a sudden, it's still 7-0. And then you sit there later on, though, in your own territory when you get the ball back, because, of course, again, the Bears, the offense couldn't do shit. And then you want to sit there and play Captain Risk It. You want to risk it with the biscuit with freaking Taysom Hill. And, of course, what happens? Bam! Here comes Tayshaun Gibson. Great play, John Jenkins interception. Now the Bears are cooking with gas. Leave it to freaking Cole Kmet to not sit there and shut his mouth. Look, I agree. The personal foul because he threw the ball to the official was crap. But maybe if he wouldn't have been engaged in trash talking that led up to that, you also don't know what he had actually said to the referee before he threw the ball or said to Jenkins before he threw the ball. Either way, it doesn't matter. The Bears come out of a situation where they should have gotten 7 and they get 3. And it's 7-3. And then Sean Payton burns a challenge, which on that David Montgomery bang play where it wasn't a catch and it wasn't close enough to really justify the challenge, and that timeout being burned did end up costing them because late in the first half, the Bears got the ball and you're sitting there at 7-3. You have nothing to lose. You're an 8-8 team on the road. The Saints are playing like doo-doo. And you run the ball 3 straight freaking plays. I'm going to outwit them all on third down. Dive play with Ryan Nall. So you go to the second half or halftime and it's 7-3. And then of course it all goes downhill. Anthony Miller, apparently my old wide receiver one. I got to eat it. What an idiot. Once again. How can you not control yourself? Now you're getting ejected. You're saying, hey, Javon Wims, I can hit a Saints defensive back in the chops too. For a team that was already missing Darnell Mooney. And I'm sure here's going to come the excuses for the Bears from some Bears fans. Well, they didn't have Roquan. They didn't have Darnell Mooney. They didn't have Jalen Johnson. You know what? Tough shit. Other teams are missing players. The Saints didn't have Trey Hendrickson, did they? Who was second in the league in sacks this year. And they found a way to get it done. Good teams find a way to get it done. The Bears are not a good team, so of course they didn't find a way to get it done. And eventually, as you go along in the second half, reality starts to set in. The Bears defense, as they do, eventually starts to break and break badly. And the Bears fans are going to make excuses. Well, they were on the field a whole lot. You know what? When you've invested that much in that defense between cap space, trades, draft capital, all of that, free agency, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. So stop making them. And in the second half, you just watched the slow realization come over a lot of Bears fans on social media that, oh, I was an idiot. Yes, you were. Oh, maybe it is time to clean house. You think? You think? It took until the last play of the game, for the Bears to score a touchdown. And it still took a spectacular catch by Jimmy Graham for them to only lose 21-9. 21-9. They had 3 points until the last play of the game. And I saw some idiot talking about, who's that, the Bears blog dude? I can't remember who it was. Idiot either way. Talking about, why would you fire Nagy? What do you mean, why would you fire Nagy? The hell is wrong with you? You can't see what's wrong with this team? The quarterback stinks. The coaches, as a result, are terrified of their quarterback, and they don't know how to better game plan around him, especially the head coach who is supposed to be the offensive genius, that every time you hear about him being more involved again with the play calling, you get worse and worse results. What the hell do you mean? The hell do you mean? You want Nagy gone? Of course you do. Why the hell would you want him to stay? I hope Bears fans have come to the realization now that this team is exactly who the hell I've said they have been all year now. And I'm not letting you off the hook because you feel bad and you're sad because once again you gotta watch your Bears team be one and done in the playoffs. The rare time that they were ever bothered to reach the fucking playoffs. And some of you clowns are gonna go to the comments in this video, I'm sure, and say, well, they made the playoffs twice in 3 years under Matt Nagy now, so. And they only made it this year because the league expanded the playoffs to 7 teams and they were, for crying out loud, 8-8 for the second year in a row. That is nothing to celebrate. They got it wrong with the quarterback. The offense stinks when they're not facing bottom barrel of the league defenses. Once again, to Larry Meyer and all those other follower idiots of his that sit there and tried to come at me a couple of weeks ago when they were buying into the bullshit and I tried to help them see the light. Tell me how my ass tastes. It's like y'all sit there in the face of every piece of logic that is staring you, hunkering down on you, and you just want to skull fuck it and say, yeah. I don't want to listen to reason. I don't want to listen to statistical evidence. I want to believe. And because I believe, that will make it all true. And no, it doesn't. How many times in life do you believe in something and it's not true and it doesn't happen? You believing that the Bears offense is good doesn't make them good. You believing that Matt Nagy isn't a nincompoop of a play caller and head coach doesn't make it true. All of a sudden thinking that Mitchell Trubisky might have figured it out doesn't mean he has. So I hope you got everything you wanted out of this. Because this Saints team was there for the picking. And Saints fans, I wouldn't exactly be talking trash. Y'all scored 7 points in the first half. It took you until well into the second half to start to figure out how to beat this mediocre-ass 8-8 Bears team. You have no room to talk trash other than just the mere fact that you won a playoff game. So what, you delay Drew Brees' retirement by another week. Whoopee! Do you feel better now, Bears fans? Was that therapeutic? Was that helpful? Fire everyone. Fire them all. And of course, they did what the Bears always do. In a draft that was full of potentially franchise-changing quarterbacks, they won too many games, so now they're picking way too low in the first round to where either A, they're going to get the freaking hand-me-downs from everybody else, or they have to make a big move up the board in order to get one, which will further handicap the organization, or best of all, they won't make any move at all. And they won't draft one. They'll wait until round 5 or 6 and then cut the kid in training camp. I just can't for the life of me. Like, a lot of you Bears fans need to get out of that echo chamber of Bears stupidity. Like, I believe me, I used to be embedded in it. I lived in the Chicago area for years, for decades. Used to work in the Chicago area. I know how stupid Bears fans can be. I know how stupid the Bears media can be. I understand how stupid all those folks involved can be. And listening to them isn't helping you. It's only making you more and more disconnected from reality. Fire Chuck Pagano. Fire Matt Nagy. Fire Ryan Pace. Fire Ted Phillips. If you're going to respond to me and say, well, then what do you do? Well, what the hell difference does it make? You know you're not winning shit with this clowns anyways. Ted Phillips has had 2+ decades, no titles. Goodbye, sayonara, see you. Ryan Pace has had 6 years. 6 years. Only 1 season with the team above 500, 2 lousy-ass playoff appearances, and no playoff victories. He's not even in the stratosphere of Jerry Angelo. Angelo in his 6th year had a team that went to the Super Bowl with Turd Ferguson, Sexy Rexy Grossman as their quarterback. And Matt Nagy. If Lovie Smith could get fired for a 10-6 record after 2012, then what the hell should happen to Matt Nagy after 2 straight 8-8 seasons, getting wiped out by the Packers twice this year, including Game 17, which could have theoretically been a win-and-you're-in scenario, even though it ended up not being, and then getting embarrassed in front of the whole world against the Saints in the wild card round. Fire everybody. And if you were surprised by what happened today, what the hell planet are you living on? What on flat earth is going on in your mind? Unbelievable. Oh, not the result today. But that's totally believable and totally predictable. And I can't believe you'd be surprised. I just find it unbelievable after all these years, you clowns continue to give benefit of the doubt to an organization that absolutely in no way, shape, or form has earned it. The only thing I can tell you is stop it! Stop that! Get in touch with reality. Get a clue!